Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this video about the MPEG-H audio system. I'm Yannick Reverb and I'm very happy that you're here with me today to get a bit more familiar with the MPEG-H audio system and the production and transmission chain of MPEG-H audio. So don't let us waste too much time, and I would like to play back a video for you. So please sit back, relax and enjoy the next couple of minutes.
Wrapped up in our father's fight, justified by everything before our time. We don't draw lines predefined.
Nepal, home to the highest mountains on Earth. And a multicultural population,
das eine Kultur erschaffen hat, die tausende Jahre alt ist. Zum Teil unter Extrembedingungen.
This investigation. Deputy Chief Italiano, NYPD, sir.
Special Agent Ozera, I'll take over from here. Anything unusual?
Yes, sir, here is something you need to see.
Okay, let's move fast. It's cold as hell out here.
Unbelievable. A penalty will decide this year's World Cup. Runs up. Shoots. Goal! 5-4! That's it! It's all over!
MPEG-H audio. Deliver emotions.
Welcome back. I hope you liked the video. So now let us have a look into the use cases of MPEG-H audio. And the first big use case, as we already saw in the video, is immersive music. With MPEG-H, you can deliver a much more realistic experience for the users at home for immersive music applications. And what you can even do is you can allow interactivity on music and, for example, on a music concert. Everything up to you as a content provider. The next big use case and the big advantage of MPEG-H audio is personalization. That means you can have multiple languages, for example, to offer for your consumers at home, or you can, for example, also have different versions of your mix transmitted. For example, a version with boosted dialogue or a version with enhanced crowd in a stadium or in a sports event, or enhanced audience for a music show, for example. So the user at home can select the preferred audio offered by you as a content provider. The third big advantage is the so-called accessibility. So with MPEG-H you can offer a new way of accessibility for people who require accessibility features, such as people with hearing impairment or visually impaired people. And last but not least, we have a next generation audio transmission path. So that means you can enable immersive sound, you can enable personalization, you can have it very efficient in a codec efficient way, and you can also have a lot of multiple playback devices transmit or reach with only one audio production. And this is what we are calling the universal delivery. And this is the fourth big advantage of MPEG-H audio, among others. But now let's focus a bit more on the production side of things. And here I would like to start with a 3D reverb for the production of next generation audio with MPEG-H. So enjoy this video. I would like to give you a quick introduction about Spacelab, the 3D reverb and panning tool, which is available for VST and AES VST and AAX for all the major audio workstations. It will be also available for a audio unit. So all the basic biggest audio workstations will be covered with this tool, and it's a very powerful tool to be able to place sound sources individually in a 3D space. And for each individual audio object, you can define settings like the dry and wet ratio. And for all of these audio objects, the reverb pattern will be calculated based on the position of the audio object in the room, as well as in relation to the listener's position. And all of these settings you can change, and which makes it very powerful and very flexible in use. So I would like to show you a quick demonstration on this one. So you can pan audio objects around. You can switch the view from a top view to a side view. And you have advanced reverb settings, enable dry and wet, so you can only listen to the wet signal. You have a lot of different factory presets. And you can even adjust the room character, so the size of the room individually. You can solo and mute individual sound sources and audio objects. You even have a spatial EQ, different rendering layouts, you can define snapshots, you can automate all the different settings you just saw, and you can define your own output format, and you can export objects or channels directly out of the reverb. So this tool will be available shortly on the Plugin Alliance website, and I hope you will check it out, because it will ease the production of next generation audio, 3D audio, in a broadcast but also in a musical manner very significantly. So let me go back to the slides, because now in order to give you a bit of a better background on what actually are the difference in terms of production of Mpeg-H audio. Here I have briefly described the workflow we are all familiar with. Basically, your post-production is post-produced signals will be fed into an encoder like AAC, MP3 or others, and then we transmit audio bitstream to a decoder where it will be played back on the end consumer device. When it comes to Mpeg-H, this is actually not significantly different, except for one step which is added, or which is basically needed in terms of production of next generation audio, and this is what we call the authoring. And in the authoring step, we're going to define the metadata which describe what the user at home is actually able to do and control the encoder on the production side and transmission side, and also the decoder on the end consumer device, to always ensure that we as content producer allow and define what the end consumer hears and what they can manipulate in terms of audio interactivity. So we as content producer have always the full control of our signals defined in the authoring step. And how this looks like, I will also show you in a second. But first of all, let us have a quick run through the metadata and what actually is part of MPEG-H metadata. So first of all, we have something which is called audio scene information. Then we have something which is called components. And you can see that basically components are consisting of different audio tracks and channels, obviously. And then we have something which is called a switch group, which combines some components in some audio tracks. So let us have a look into what this actually is. So in the audio scene information, these are basically top level information, which are basically define reproduction setups, loudness and DRC values, so dynamic range control values. We can define number of objects and also content kinds to always give basically static information to our MPEG-H scene. And then we have components, which are basically the smallest addressable units inside an MPEG-H audio scene, which are basically founding the elements. And they consist of individual audio tracks. And last but not least, we have something which is called a switch group. And the switch group allows that only one of the elements which are part of the switch group can be played back simultaneously at the end consumer device, to always ensure that the user can only select one of these components. Like, for example, if you have multiple languages, you always want to allow the user to only select one of them, but not multiple. And then we can define different components and all of these metadata into presets, which are basically creating some different versions of our program. And this metadata describe how the components are used together. So that means, for example, in this example, we have 3 presets: default, dialog plus, and commentator, which consists of components, our ambience bed, as well as the switch group, which contains the languages. And then we added on the dialog plus preset a boost of 6 dB to enhance the speech intelligibility, and we have a no commentator preset, which doesn't include any commentator at all. So as you can see, it's basically one mix with different versions, only defined over metadata. And how we can transmit this metadata, this is what Robert also already explained to you in some slides before. This is called the MPEG-H control track. So we are forming audio content together with metadata modulated into an PCM audio track. We combine them in a multi-channel WAV file and have something which we call the MPEG-H production format. PCM audio plus metadata. All of these information, labels, interactivity ranges, components, switch group, and so on, are modulated in the signal, and we can always ensure that our audio signal and the metadata are bundled together and synced. And even like, for example, this as the control track is just a PCM audio track, it's very robust against, for example, level changes or even sample rate conversions, because it's just an audio track and can be handled in such way. So it's also the metadata of MPEG-H are basically capable in any today's audio or video workstations, as it is just an PCM audio track.
At a live concert, the audience gets goosebumps and can feel the passion of the performer. MPEG-H audio lets you create a unique immersive sound experience. Our tools make production intuitive and flexible. They support true object-based audio and binaural rendering. Apply for the free download here and start delivering emotions.
So now we learned more about the metadata creation and the basic principles of MPEG-H authoring. So now let's have a look to the tools which enable MPEG-H authoring. And here I would like to start with the Mph Authoring Suite. And the Mph Authoring Suite is a free tool, so you can download it for free. Just follow the QR code, which is linked here, and you can get 4 tools for free. And that means you can get the MPEG-H authoring plugin as well as the MPEG-H authoring tool, which you can use for the creation and authoring of metadata, including interactivity and personalization. And you can monitor all of this inside a plugin in VST or AAX-enabled host workstations, or as a standalone application for Mac and Windows, and you can finally export your authoring. If you already have existing metadata and you want to bring them into the MPEG-H workflow, you can use the MPEG-H conversion tool to convert ADM metadata into MPEG-H enabled metadata. This could be either also BWF ADM or the MPEG-H production format, as we just learned. And last but not least, we have a tool for quality control, and that's the so-called MPEG-H production format player, which you can use for the quality assurance of your MPEG-H authoring, including a video playback. And in terms of workflow, you can use the Mph Authoring Suite and the tools for authoring to create the metadata. So in this slide here, you can see the plugin in digital audio workstations, or the standalone application, the Mph Authoring tool, to create, produce, mix your sound, create the metadata, monitor the metadata, and then finally export it to an Mph audio master. If you want to ingest the file, take the Mph Authoring tool, the Mph conversion tool, and before you finally feed or send this out, just do a quality check with the Mph production format player and ensure that the quality in the authoring is what you expect. So now I will give you a quick introduction into the Mph Authoring Suite. And to do so, I open Brew Tools and will import an BWF ADM file. And as you can see here, we are importing an audio file which was created with this device, and it includes a lot of different audio tracks and audio objects. And what I would like to do now is I would like to convert this file into an Mph BWF ADM file, enhance it with features only offered by the Mph audio system, and then export this again using the Mph authoring tool. And this is what I will do now. So first of all, I'm opening my Finder in order to ensure that this ADM file, which offers a lot of objects, a lot of channels, so like 78 tracks in total, is compatible to the Mph audio system. I'm opening it with the Mph ADM info tool. And I can see this ADM file is supported by the Mph audio system. So that's great. And in order to convert it, I'm using the Mph authoring tool and drag and drop this file into the Mph authoring tool. I can see we have in total 78 wave channels. We have a BWF ADM file, and my target output format is an Mph BWF ADM in a rendered layout 7.1/4. So I press convert, I select the path, and the conversion is running. I was speeding this up a little bit for us, but now after the conversion process is done, I got our exported file, which I will now open in the Mph authoring tool. So what I will do now is I'm just dragging and drop this file into the Mph authoring tool. And as you already can see, it imports the ADM metadata. And as you can hear, we already got a complete mix rendered 7.4 of our rendering. And now what I would like to do is enrich this with an audio description to enable user interactivity for the users at home. So I click on Edit Scene, I go to my audio pool, and I add an audio description mono track, which I already recorded. And this is now located on channel 17 of our input tracks. So I create an audio object, I call this audio description. It's an object. Its content kind is an audio description. The language of the audio description is English. And we route this from channel 17 to our audio description component. Now we would also like to enable interactivity ranges. So we are going to this interactivity settings here, and we allow that the user at home can interact with the audio description object with a gain interactivity by plus 6 dB. There's no possibility to decrease the volume. And now we add position interactivity, left and right, and also don't offer anything on the height. Now we go into presets. We create another preset, which we call audio description. We add our complete mix. We add our audio description. We allow user interactivity for gain and position. We define this preset as a visually impaired audio description preset. So when the decoder is home is selected to play back visually impaired presets, it will automatically jump to this preset, that the user at home don't have to make any position at interactivity settings or preset switch manually. Now, let's listen to it.
A busy street in 1947 Los Angeles. Traffic is filmed whilst driving in a Hollywood hotel advertisement is shown on the street. The Earl Carroll Theatre is shown. A white building with a taxi parked outside. A couple.
So that's great. Let's export this as an MPEG-H production format file. So I'll select the directory, save, select the sample format, the frame rate, press start, and we exported our file. And this is what I will show you in a second in the MPEG-H production format player. I opened the MPEG-H production format player, and what I'm doing now is I play back the video file with our combined exported audio in the MPEG-H production format player, and you can see and quality control your authoring.
A transport truck passes and people cross the street. Traffic is shown on the street. The Earl Carroll Theatre is shown. A white building with a taxi parked outside. A couple passes. Meridian is shown over.
So these guys just...
We also offer a very in-detailed online tutorial. So just follow the link below or scan the QR code. And now I would like to show you another tool for the MPEG-H production, the Spatial Audio Designer.
Es gibt Geschichten, die eine ungebrochene Faszination ausüben. Uralte Mythen, die überall auf der Welt erzählt werden. Vom Leben in der Wildnis. Von Kindern, die allein auf sich gestellt unter Tieren aufwachsen. Man nennt sie Wolfskinder. Ihr Verhalten ähnelt den Tieren, mit denen sie leben.
Wenn ich draußen in der Natur lebe, wenn ich nicht mehr die geschützten Bedingungen habe, wenn ich nicht zugedeckt werde, wenn ich nicht warm gehalten werde, dann muss ich, wenn ich das überlebe, mich an diese Umweltbedingungen adaptieren.
Tatsächlich kann es auch heute noch passieren, dass Kinder eine Zeit lang ohne menschliche Gesellschaft aufwachsen. Diese Zeit prägt sie für immer.
Tatsächlich denken Wolfskinder genauso, wie sie sozialisiert worden sind. Wenn ich in einem Wolfsrudel aufwachse, denke ich nachher wie ein Wolf. wachse ich auf in einem Bärenrudel oder mit einem Bär zusammen, dann denke ich wie ein Bär.
Das wohl berühmteste Wolfskind ist Mowgli, der Held des Dschungelbuches, der unter Wölfen groß wird. Aber wie viel Wahrheit steckt in den Geschichten über die wilden Kinder? Es gibt Geschichten, die eine
Fascination for us. Ancient legends
told auf der Welt erzählt werden. Vom Leben in der Wildnis. Von Kindern, die allein auf sich gestellt und
growing up among animals. They are called
Wolfskinder. Ihr Verhalten ähnelt den Tieren, mit denen sie leben.
Wenn ich draußen in der Natur lebe, wenn ich nicht mehr die geschützten Bedingungen habe, wenn ich nicht zugedeckt werde.
Tonight, I couldn't reach. I mean, I wanted you tight. Come over, give me some love, 'cause I want you even more. In bad times, being by your side. Don't leave me, hold me, try to control me. What have I been doing wrong? All the time I felt this strong. Thought to know where I belong. Here I am, writing down the end of a story that we began. Leave me, don't hold me, don't try to control me. I can see, let me breathe. Hold my hand, don't try to fight. Don't leave me, hold me, don't try to control me. Here I am, writing down the end of a story that we began. Leave me, don't hold me, don't try to control me. You gave me up, but I won't give up You gave me up, but I won't give up You gave me up, but I won't give up.
Thank you very much for watching this video. Happy authoring and stay tuned. Thanks a lot.